It was only after the investigation into the disappearance of Edna Suttles did they discover that this man was responsible for killing 3 other women.
He is a serial killer. Don't make no mistake about it.
This video contains the interrogation of a handyman who turned out to be responsible for the deaths of at least 4 women. Most people do background checks before hiring someone to work in their home, and Daniel Prince is an example of why this is a much-needed practice. Prince's criminal history includes a 1997 conviction from Michigan for kidnapping, and he was sentenced to 13 to 30 years in state prison for that crime. He was released in 2009, and his parole was terminated in 2011. He also has prior convictions for firearm possession and assault and battery. Edna Suttles was a vivacious 80-year-old woman who still enjoyed good health and had a zest for life. Still, certain things around the house were beyond her capabilities, and when she needed a handyman, she came in contact with Daniel Prince. Prince wasted no time in charming her and gaining her confidence before he made his move. After buying yogurt in a local grocery store, he drugged one of the containers and gave it to Suttles. He then kidnapped her from the parking lot and was later seen wiping down his vehicle.
Yeah, I know what's going on. If you guys need me to go somewhere, I can.
We
go.
may do that before it's over with. We'll explain what's going on today, though.
Yeah, man.
That's my partner,
Hey,
Greg.
Greg, pleasure.
Greg?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's my partner. We work these cases together. We're from Greenville.
Can you tell me why
Yeah,
they put me
yeah,
down like
let's
I'm
see.
John Dillinger?
I'm
John Dillinger,
It's
right?
not like that, but we'll explain it to you.
Alright. What do you know about John Dillinger?
Huh?
What do you know about John Dillinger?
What I see on the History Channel, I'm a history buff.
Okay. What's your favorite period or thing to,
I like the, you guys have COVID?
No.
No.
Can I
Do you
take
have
that?
COVID?
No.
Okay.
No, not to the best of my knowledge. As long as I'm not around a bunch of inmates, I'm gonna take that off.
There you go.
Yeah, that works for me. That way we can actually have a conversation.
One other thing, I'm kinda hard of hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
So am I, so is he, so
Okay.
so we're all in the same boat, we all kinda understand.
Okay.
So,
Here,
yeah.
Hmm.
So you already met my partner, John.
John.
Once again, I'm Greg
Greg.
Walter.
Okay.
Both of us are investigators down in Greenville County.
South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've never been to Greenville, South Carolina in my life.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you should. It's gorgeous
My
down
wife wants to go there because she says she's hears so much about how beautiful it is, and I've just been remodeling my home. We don't afford to go do much.
right.
Really.
Yeah.
And let's just get a couple of little administration data first.
Okay.
You're-
Am I under arrest? Or am I just being detained and we're figuring out what's going on?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's just
Okay.
knock out some of the admin stuff, okay?
Sure. What do you need?
All right. What's your first name?
Daniel.
And middle name?
Glenn with one N.
One N, Glenn. And how do you spell your last name?
PR, Papa Romeo, India, November, Tango, Zulu.
Prince.
Yes.
That's just.
It always throws people when I say that and they start writing so fast they get to
Yeah.
CE and have to redo things.
Yeah. And date of birth? Two.
Yeah.
All right. What's a good phone number for you?
Now it is. I just got a new phone. My other one was cracked. It wasn't working real good.
Okay.
So,
That's a good phone number for you.
yeah. Well, it isn't right now because I don't have a phone on me.
Okay. Well, you know, whenever you get your phone back, if I need to call you up and
Right.
chat a bit more. And then,
Okay.
where are you living at?
Bostic,
Bostic.
USTIC, North Carolina, 28018.
All right. And who do you live there with?
My wife. Last name.
Okay. What's her last name?
She used to be in your line of work.
Really? What'd she do?
She worked at, let me think of the name of it. 20 years between the two.
Where's that at?
Michigan, west side of the state.
Okay. Is that where y'all are from?
I'm originally from the east side of the state of Michigan,
Okay.
but I was in prison in Michigan for a while, and when I paroled to the west side of the state,
Okay.
and with her work with the police department and stuff, I met her, and
Is there a big difference between east side and west side of Michigan? Because you bring
there's
it
a
up.
huge difference.
Yeah, what's the difference?
The east side of the state of Michigan is you've got the Detroit, Wayne County, and the population, the racial demographic is very black, and it's been through the auto industries went bad and everything, and you've got a lot more poverty. The west side of the state is like Grand Haven and stuff, and people are a lot more affluent, and there's but where she was at, Muskegon Heights, is kind of like little Detroit. It's kind of a bad area too. There's bad areas intermingled in and out.
Well, it's like anywhere nowadays, you know, bad area here, bad area there. Every little town always has their own little pocket.
Absolutely.
Of, you know, badness.
Yeah, there's no badness in Grand Haven. Grand Haven's like one of your top resort places, from what I understand.
Okay. What'd you get locked up for? Because you said you got paroled.
I got paroled. I was locked up for a kidnapping charge.
Okay.
And I did 13 and a half years for that.
Oh, wow.
I did 1.5 years for a false statement on a vehicle title. They were going to do that in case they didn't get the kidnapping to stick.
Okay.
A false statement on the vehicle title. When my wife that I had then, we transferred a title on a car, and there were little boxes. And I checked the one closest to the word wife, but it was for sister. And it's just, you know, when they're not sure if they're going to make something, they want something to hold you with. So the false statement, that's all that was. The kidnapping, I was doing some bad shit that I shouldn't have been doing.
Fair enough.
But I shouldn't have gotten kidnapping. But I was doing some bad shit.
What kind of shit? What shit have you gotten?
I really don't want to say.
We're just bullshitting.
No,
We're just bullshitting.
Nothing when you're talking to 2 police detectives in a room, it's just bullshit. Okay, I've been through the system enough to know that. Okay, all I'm going to say about that is I did my time, I made my first parole, and I haven't been in trouble since.
Hey, and that's great to know. You know, a lot of people, especially being what you've been through, they come out and they go right back to it.
You know, I had a boss when I first got out, and he was getting in trouble. And the police, this is a funny story. These 2 lady police officers come to my house because they wanted to question me about him. The one knocks on the door, and there's a set of steps. And I open the door, I don't have my shirt on. I say, "What's going on?" And she said, "I'm with the police department, I want to talk to you about." And other officers standing down at the bottom of the stairs with their hand on her pistol. And I'm like, "Are you officers concerned about something?" And she says, "We've been told you might not like the police." I started laughing. I said, "Let me put on my shirt. I'll let you in." I put on my shirt. They come in, and the woman who's my wife is sitting there. I said, "Y'all might know her. She works with the police department. This is my girlfriend. I ain't got nothing against the police. The police didn't put me in prison. I was being stupid. I put me in prison."
Yeah. And a lot of people don't even come to that conclusion either.
No.
So what do you do now?
I do a lot of I hate to say it because I don't want to get in trouble with the IRS. I do a lot of home remodeling, home repairs. I lay a lot of tile, and I got a customer base that has me doing stuff and that sort of thing.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Since I got out.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty good trade.
Since I got out. I've been doing it here and there, and you know, everybody pretty much thinks I'm Dan. Because whenever I introduce myself, "Hi, I'm Dan, that's my." So everybody, because I don't want people telling me they don't want me working for them, because everybody wants to look everybody up, and I'm not doing anything that I don't want somebody working with me.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, everybody's running everybody's name and
You ain't kidding
all that jazz. Okay, so well, why Bostic, North Carolina? Come all the way down from, did you say Michigan or Wisconsin?
Okay, here, this is real easy.
Yeah.
My wife wanted to they had taken the police department she was at, the city manager's office there. She was close to being vested for pension.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and reduced her to part-time.
Wow.
And she had like about, I could be lying to you here, like 3 to 6 months to be she was vested for pension. And the city managers, one of the things she did for them a lot was she wrote grants. She got millions of dollars worth of new squad cars, all kinds of stuff. So for a few $1,000s worth of pay, they got rid of the person getting $1 million worth of grants. And they gave her part-time. And she wanted full-time work. So she started looking for full-time work. She got a job at the Air National Guard base at Charlotte, 145th Airlift.
Yeah.
And we moved down here because of that. And I started doing jobs for the people at the guard base. that were wanting little things done.
Yeah.
I'd do anything, man. 25 bucks an hour, whatever you need. First job I did was put in a little fence.
Yeah.
The next thing I did is I go out there and I put in all this landscaping stuff. I'm out there working I'm from Michigan. I'm working out there, it's like 90-something degrees. I'm out there putting paper bricks and filling stuff in. Word spread that I would do things for a good price.
Yeah.
And then I just got one client, led to another client, to another client.
Do you price out based on the job or hourly?
It's gotten to the point where they just tell me what they want done. I keep track of my hours and tell them how much they owe me when I'm done. Everybody trusts me because I do a good job for a decent.
Prince is overly talkative. He is trying to charm the detectives, even though he has had enough interaction with law enforcement to know that this won't work.
Rate.
Yeah.
So
And you're traveling all the way from up here to Charlotte? What kind of commute was that?
it's about an hour and 15 minutes, depending on the day. It's taken me as much as 3 before when 85 gets
Oh
plugged
yeah,
up.
85 is stupid.
Yeah, 85, and then I have to hit 485 because a lot of the work I do is in Piper Glen and Raintree.
Okay. And your
I'm
wife
having
was-
trouble talking, my throat's getting dry.
You're fine. We can probably get you a glass of water or something if you need
A
that.
glass of water would be great.
That's what I found for you. Give me one too.
Might as well. So, your wife, she was doing the.
She was
full-time-
she was
full-time job?
full-time administrative assistant for the wing commander at the
Okay.
145th Airlift.
So she was in the military?
No, she was a civilian
Civilian,
administrative
okay.
assistant.
How'd you like that?
Not a girl. She cried the first 6 months because it was like she was having trouble making her way in.
Really?
And then she got doing really good at it, and she got a lot of friends there. She wound up doing really well, and she retired from it. She's a retired state employee.
Okay, so she finally got her pension.
She got
Got it.
pensions. She got a couple pensions coming in and things.
Did she get anything from up north at all?
Besides screwed, I don't think so. Not
Wow.
much of anything.
So she got that close and
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, a little bit better.
well, yeah. It kind of a little nerve-wracking to have poor people pointing assault rifles at you,
Yeah.
telling you to put your hands in the air when you're not expecting to have anybody bothering you.
Yeah, what were you up to today?
Hmm?
What were you up to today?
Today I had the outside of my house opened up.
Okay.
I was working on some plumbing stuff
Yeah.
and fitting some pipe stuff together. So
Yeah. So you travel a lot?
I do sometimes.
Or you stay mostly, I guess what I'm getting at is, how far out are you contracted, or are you just like a local guy?
Oh, no, I'll go anywhere. I go back to Michigan to do work.
Really?
And in fact, I'm supposed to go back to Michigan the end of the month for the people that I was working. When I first got out,
Yeah.
I ran an ad in Craigslist, handyman.
Yeah.
I grew up doing everything. My dad and my brothers, they did all kinds of house stuff. I knew how to do everything. I ran an ad for handyman, and I did the same thing, and I started getting jobs here, there, and everywhere. Well, the one lady, I'm the only person she'll trust. She's flown me back to Michigan when they had 12 inches of snow. Okay, the roof comes down, you get snow on top, and you got ice that forms. Well, from inside the house, it's warmer. So what happens is it will melt the snow underneath, and when you got this big ice pocket, it starts getting back under the shingles and dripping down through her house. She's flown me back to come up there and chip ice off. And I'll do it and come back here. And then I got up there February of this year. I went back up there to do a little bit of stuff for her. And the ceiling was all wet in the bedroom. And I told her, that ceiling's going to come down. I can't sleep in this room anymore. Because she had her room and I was staying in the guest room. I took off to come home, and I was halfway home and she called me and said there was a crash, the whole ceiling came down. She's been trying to get people in there since February to fix this ceiling. She got some people to come in and clean it out, and she wants me to come back and now put up the drywall in mud. I figured it'd be about a 4-day gig, one day to put the drywall up, first mudding, then second mudding, third mudding, paint, and go home. And she told me she would give me what the insurance company gave her
Oh, wow.
to cover the damages.
How much is that?
I kind of losing her mind. She says that she thought, one time she said she thought it was $2,000, one time she thought it was $2,500.
Yeah.
I told her I don't care either one, I'm fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Whatever works for you,
I'm
whatever
gonna-
you can do.
I'm gonna go up to Michigan, I'm gonna spend $300 on gas on a round trip. I'm gonna spend 4 days, which is 1 full work day and 3 minor days, and come home with $2,000 or close to it in my pocket, so that's $1,700 minimum. What do I care?
That's right.
Yeah. How long does it take you to drive up?
To her place, because it's on the left side of the west side of the state,
Okay.
with good traffic, about 11.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a jaunt. So you drive up one day,
Yeah.
do work the next.
Okay. Where are you staying at? I mean,
Her house.
Okay. They don't put you in like a hotel or anything like that?
No, she's got a guest room.
Oh,
She's
that's
like
awesome.
she's like my old aunt. In fact, today she calls me and she says, "I'm having problems." I said, "What's your problem?" She was in a vehicle accident 2-3 weeks ago. She hasn't got a vehicle, and her family that's there is elderly. And she says, "They're getting tired of driving me around. I don't do anything." I said, "You got all the money in the world. You got an 830 something credit score. Go get a vehicle." She said, "Well, I don't know how to get, I can't get there." I said, "I'll tell you what. Let me call the Jeep dealership in Grand Haven.
Okay.
I'm going to ask them for a guy that wants to make a sale today. And you might as well start putting on your makeup, because they're going to come out to your house. They're going to pick you up. They're going to take you in there. I will talk to them. They will get you set up with your insurance company, get you a tag on your vehicle, and you can drive home." I called. The guy was more than happy to drive 3 miles to go pick up a lady to sell a Jeep. Better than sitting around there all day waiting for someone to come in and buy a Jeep. So, there it is. And this is the kind of customer service I give to all my people. And Karen's more than a customer. She's like a great, wonderful aunt now. And she's 71 or 72 or something like that. And never had really mention going on for the last 20 years. Her husband died, got his head crushed in an accident at a machine shop. She got a lot of money because they had taken the stuff out of the machines.
Oh, wow.
The woman's got all kinds of money.
Well, that's really good on you to actually be willing to drive up there.
Well, she pays me.
Yeah.
She trusts me. I treat her well. And she was there for me when I first got out. She knew I had gotten out of prison. And she allowed me to go over there and do some yard work for her. And it basically became a trust thing. In fact, another one of my buddies got out of prison later, and there was 2 people jobs. I got him some work, doing stuff for her. She trusted me to have him there. And he wound up going back to prison for some shit that I would have never thought he'd have gone to prison for in all my life. But I tried to help him. It just didn't take.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But at least you got a good reputation that she takes you for your word, so you got that going.
Everybody is like that.
Yeah.
I have people all over the place that I go and help. I go look at jobs all over. I go look at jobs, shoot, I've been to Tennessee, I've been to North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan doing stuff. I've got people that have a property in, don't get me lying to you, it's either Virginia or West Virginia. I think it's Virginia.
Yeah, what's the difference?
You know, what's the difference? Rednecks and moonshine.
West.
And so they had me looking at a cabin there, and I was going to do some remodeling work for them there. And then she had got downgraded from they either call it a technician. I think one of the guard positions is a technician where you don't make as much, and then the other one's your full guard. They reduced her position to a technician, and she was still a colonel, but she lost like $40,000 a year. And she decided to opt out of that. Still very good friends with them. I've done a lot of work for them in South Carolina, Rock Hill. I mean, I travel all over.
Yeah.
You gotta go where the money is. Excuse me.
That.
You ever been in the military?
Yes, sir.
What'd you do?
I've done a lot of things. I've got several MOSs.
Well, I mean, because, you know, you gave me the mnemonic alphabet when you
But
spelled
I
it.
kind of picked up on it.
That's because people slow down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they start writing as soon as they think it's Prince, they go to CE. So when I spell the last name,
Yeah.
I do it phonetically because they slow down. I went in originally, I started working with helicopters.
Okay,
I was a
what?
67 November helicopter mechanic crew chief. Went to Texas, worked on helicopters there. Put myself on levy, went to Germany. Started working with a special forces unit in Germany. Started OJT and doing that, and then the Army said you can't OJT into that because you have to be jump qualified
Yeah.
and all the other different things you have to do. But I got NBC, which is nuclear biological chemical training, and I worked in one of the chemical rooms when I got hurt. I've been hurt a couple times in the military.
Doing what?
Just bullshit, getting hurt,
Yeah.
you know, nothing long term.
Okay.
And just
How long were you in for?
4 years, 9 months, 13 days.
So you started off as a helicopter mechanic, then you went over to,
Now, if you run that and you check, you're going to find a discrepancy there. I went on June 12th, 1980. I got put out on September 5th, 1984 on a medical discharge.
Okay.
The reason that you'll find a discrepancy is for some reason when they issued my 14, it said I'd been in for 2 years and 10 months. I never figured out why they did that, but I got Senator Don Regal in Michigan to do an investigation on it, and they came back and they gave me a corrected, but they don't give you a brand new DD, they gave you a slip saying it was correct.
Yeah, they give you
Okay, is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, so if you run it and it says I was in there for 2 years and 10 months, I wasn't lying, run it deeper, it'll show you that I'm telling you the truth.
Okay, so a helicopter mechanic in Texas and then Germany.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you like Germany?
I loved Germany.
That was early
I
80s.
was,
That was before the wall fell too.
Yeah, I was up to Fulda Gap one time, God, that shit scared me.
Prince has gone off on another tangent. The detectives are allowing him to feel like he is just chatting with friends in the hope that he will be more forthcoming with his answers.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Stupid story. Oh, man, I felt like a total ass. I'm a young kid, okay? I'm 18 years old, 19 maybe 19. I'm up there on the Fulda Gap. We're doing war games. If you look down the other side, you see all the Eastern Bloc nations doing their war games. There was Hind D helicopters flying around, and they'd turn and they'd start cranking the gun, but they wouldn't fire, just to intimidate you. Well, they're telling us people might come across the border and screw with you. So I'm sitting out there up on this hill. Down the other side, there's a town probably about 2 kilometers away. And I start hearing through the brush. And I'm on the radio. We got a problem. Because I'm supposed to be me and my 2 buddies, and that's all we see. They come out, they fly over with a helicopter, they shine a light, they don't see anything. A little while later, I called because we were in the same thing. Did this 2 or 3 times. They come out there and start looking around. You know what it was?
What?
Hedgehogs.
Really?
They had a bunch of hedgehogs where they were migrating or moving at that time of year or whatever the hedgehogs were doing, or there were just a lot of them in that area. I got the absolute living crap scared out of me by a bunch of damn hedgehogs.
Wow. I bet that's scary. I mean, being up there with the Russians.
Oh, and things were really not good at that point.
No, it was not.
No.
It was not, man. Wow. I mean, you know, you're a history buff. You look at all the times we got close to one of the sides hitting the button.
Oh, yeah. We were always getting put on alert for something.
Yeah.
I was doing gate guard, which they called UP, Uniformed Police.
Yeah.
I was standing at the gate, you get it for 30 days at a time. And they had a time, one time this general pulled up with his driver and everything, and the general and his wife didn't have an ID, and I'm holding them there.
Oh, yeah.
And the guys driving for me, they got sidearms. And I got an AR-15 M16 with 5 rounds in it. And I'm telling them, I said, look, I'm not going to screw up how I do my job with a general watching me.
Yeah.
And my job is to hold you till someone comes and signs this in or shows me proof of who this is. And I made them open the trunk. I said, for all I know, you 2 guys kidnapped a general. You're getting on base. And I have to be careful here. The guy says, you won't just let us sign him in? I said, absolutely not. I like my rank.
Do it the right way every
Do
time,
it
and
the
you
right
won't go
way.
wrong.
I said, and you guys got to do it the right way too. We're in a hurry. I said, well, you should have got your IDs then.
Exactly.
So, you know.
I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with that kind of situation, you know?
Right. So you guys aren't really interested in all my past and all this
No,
shit.
but it's interesting.
It's interesting, man.
But
Okay. Why am I here?
Alright, well, before we talk to you,
like you see on television, you know how it is.
yeah,
You can
my
stop
friend
at any
will talk to you.
time. We're gonna read you your rights.
I have the right to remain silent. If I give up the right to remain silent, everything I say can and will be used against me, which is, there's no positive in there.
Here's no positive. It's not can and will.
Right.
It could be.
Yeah. I have the right to an attorney. If I want an attorney and I can't afford one, you'll provide me with one.
Free of charge.
Yeah.
Alright.
So my,
So,
oh, sir, one thing. One of you needs to go.
After rambling for a while, Prince makes an abrupt shift in the conversation and pretends to want to know why he is there.
Get my reading glasses. I told him you were going to have me look at any paperwork I need.
Where are they?
I'll go get 'em.
The officer took them from me.
That's fine.
And I can't read to sign
That's
anything.
fine.
I'm just not trying to be a problem.
You're not. We don't want you to be a problem. We don't want to be a hassle either. I guess West Virginia and Virginia is sort of like West Michigan and Michigan.
Actually, they were two different states, but yeah, kind
But
of.
it's sort of like, yeah.
You guys are doing a great job of being real nice to me here.
We could be doing some tedious stuff somewhere else the way we look at it, but we'll go follow up on something anywhere if that
Well,
was.
whatever you're here for, it's gotta be important enough that you went ahead and sent a whole bunch of people to come get me.
That's a true statement. But if we do it right every time, just like your job in the military, we won't go wrong, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Right. If, this comes down to me needing to go down to South Carolina to talk to somebody, I don't have a problem doing that.
Okay, that might speed things up. I don't know what the process is to get you back.
I don't know. Extraditions can take a while.
Yeah, I've heard.
If you waive extradition. I don't know what this could possibly be, but if it's...
We'll explain it to you. He's the lead investigator. I help him on a lot of stuff. He helps me on stuff, so I'm gonna let him take the lead.
I figured that the one girl out there, I asked her, I said, why would they have come at me as hard as they did? And she said, I told her I had a criminal record. She said, if they run your criminal record and background and saw you had a violent crime, then they're gonna come at you like you're gonna hurt them.
We have to check that box, and when they look at that, that's...
And I'm sure you guys ran me before you came.
We did.
And I'm sure you saw that I've been to prison.
Mm.
And I'm sure that's why they thought we'd have to be very careful.
They do this thing called a matrix now, where you have to put little points beside it. And that adds a lot of points, where we have to add some...
You realize all my convictions for stuff were 30 years ago almost.
I know that now. But still, they have to check that box.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
You know, I see stuff happen all the time. In fact, I called the police for something about a week ago, and I thought the guy might have had a gun in his backpack because the way he was acting squirrely. I'm telling my cop, please be really careful. Like I said, nobody in your job position ever put me in prison. I put me in prison.
Prince tries to suck up to the detectives, making himself sound like an upstanding citizen whose mistakes are all behind him.
Being stupid.
Well, Alan, looks like you're moving on though, so
I really am.
that's good.
Yeah.
When'd you get out? What year?
I got out December 15th, 2009.
So you maxed out, or you have to do
No,
some
no,
parole?
I made my first parole date.
Okay, that's good.
Well, I made my first parole date, but Michigan, they send you 3 months before you're able to parole, and they had me go ahead and talk to the parole board, and then they wanted me to talk to a psych,
Yeah.
and they had me talk to a psych, and the first one they sent me was a psychologist, not a
There you
psychiatrist.
go.
That's a big difference.
And so then they had to redo it, so it took another 6 months.
Mhm.
But they let me go on the first time. In fact, I was plus 16 for probability parole.
Yeah.
And the guards told me they'd never seen anybody higher than plus 4 or plus 5. Because I didn't get in any trouble the whole 13 and a half years, maintained for it.
That's the secret, ain't it?
Yeah, I didn't. I did something that rightfully put me in prison. Okay.
Alright, here we go. So, before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights.
Do an initial or just
You
check?
can initial.
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent.
Yep.
Anything you say can be used against you in court.
Yeah, always is.
You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have him with you during questioning. If you have no money to pay a lawyer's fee, the court will appoint one to,
You have the right to stop at any time.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much boilerplate.
Okay,
Miranda.
that's fine. We can read the waiver. And just,
I understood this statement, and I understand that my rights are, I'm willing to make this statement and answer questions. I understand that I know what I'm doing. No promises or threats. You guys gotta quit threatening me.
I'll stop.
Okay.
stop me, I mean.
You want me to fill all this out?
Yes, sir, best of your ability.
I'm pretty sure I can handle it.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
No, you would. No, you probably wouldn't. You.
I-
These stories I bet before.
Oh, yeah.
Have kids?
Oh, good Lord, no.
Oh, good Lord, no.
My penmanship is horrible. My arm, I got hurt and stuff, and my arm shakes. Education, some college.
Sure, that works.
school attended.
Oh man, did that while you're in the service, huh?
Huh?
Did that while you're in the service out there?
Yeah, you know what was really cool is they had it to where, just a second, this one requires okay. They had it to where I actually was able to take classes over in Germany. They had people that were on the different concerns over there that were able to go ahead and give you your test. It was mostly classroom stuff, very little, what do you call it, when the instructor stands in front of the class, very...
Lecture.
Yeah.
Yeah, lecture, that's the word.
Kind of like go you on FaceTime it, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you actually get a degree out of there or no?
No.
What were you studying?
Law, criminal justice.
Okay, looking at being a lawyer.
I was originally wanting to be an attorney, yeah.
What field?
I wanted, God, you guys would laugh at me if I told you.
I used to want to be a corporate lawyer.
Well, I didn't want to do that. I actually wanted, that sounds boring to me. I actually just wanted to get the law degree and then kind of figure out by trying different things work where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a judge.
Oh wow. Why is that?
Go big or go home.
There you go. Because it sounded like a cool job. I was
That sounded like a
20
cool
years
job.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get to be in charge.
All
Why
right.
am I here, sir?
I'll talk to you about August 27th, 2021 of this year.
What day of the week was that?
Oh, it was a Friday.
Okay.
Where are you on that day? What's your typical Fridays like?
Some Fridays I go do jobs, some Fridays I stay home, some Fridays I go look at jobs, I do all sorts of things. Days run together for me because I don't have a set schedule.
Fair enough. When as the jobs come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so specifically the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
What, 2 weeks ago? Do you remember where you were at?
The detectives finally begin to question Prince, and he acts as if he has no idea what they are talking about. I just wanted to let you know real quick that my merch shop, StrangerLabel.com, has a ton of quality and unique designs that you can purchase right now. And by doing so, support the channel at the same time. Items like the Architect and the Interrogator hoodies, the Mentally Checked Out and the Stranger t-shirts, the Do Not Cross mug, and the All-Seeing beanie are all there and available. Check out these and other items I have to offer on StrangerLabel.com, and don't forget to use code STRANGER15 to get an extra 15% off your entire order. And with that out of the way, let's get back to the case.
Not specifically.
Where do you think you were at?
I've been going all over the place. I've been back and forth to Charlotte. I've been down to South Carolina.
Yeah. Like, where's your jobs in South Carolina taking you?
Actually, I was down to Travelers Rest, but I don't know if it was Friday or Thursday. I know I'd been there earlier that week.
Okay. But you don't remember which day specifically?
No, it was either Thursday or Friday.
What kind of job were you working on?
I wasn't.
You wasn't?
I wasn't. This lady had talked to me several times. I'd been down to her house 2 or 3 times. We kind of got to be friends. This woman has so many damn problems, mostly her daughter.
Yeah.
And what she did is she had me looking at ductwork that she wanted done because somebody had done ductwork for her and she was suing them because they didn't do all the ductwork or something. She would call me and have me come down there.
Okay.
And she was constantly having problems. She said she needed to have money at one point in time to help her daughter because her daughter was in jail. Then she needed money another time because, what was it the next time? She was hiring a private investigator because her son-in-law she talked to me all kinds of stuff about it. We got to be pretty good friends about stuff like that. But she kept seeing like she was blowing me off on actually doing any work for her. She was going to have a guy come out and wash her house, and I said, well, if I'm coming down here to look at other stuff, I got a power washer. I can wash your house and clean out your eaves for a couple $100 bucks. She was going to have me do it. Packed my power washer up. Went down there. Never did the work because I don't have the money right now. I got to sell a bunch of jewelry. I got to sell a bunch of stuff to go ahead and get more money for a private investigator. Then she wanted a different private investigator because she didn't like the one she had. So it was like one excuse after the other.
How'd you meet her initially?
Years ago.
Okay.
Years ago, and it was somebody had given me her name or number, or my name and number. I get passed around a lot,
Okay.
so it was a years ago thing.
That's pretty awesome. Your name made all the way down to Travelers Rest, South Carolina.
Hmm.
That's good reputation.
Yeah.
Solid work.
I do that, and like I said, with the thing with Sharon, I give my customers good. I don't advertise. The only way I get work is if somebody gives my name out.
Mhm.
Okay, so you went down there, and where's her house at? 'Cause you went to her house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know how to get there.
You do?
Yeah, I've been there a few
Yeah.
times. I don't know the actual address anymore, but I take and go 74 to where the exit is for 25, and I get on that and I just keep going until I see her house.
Okay. And then you just pulled in and.
I just pull in. I either pull in the front, and then she told me you need to start pulling in the back, and then I
Okay.
pulled in the back, and then she said one of my friends came over to drop something off, or somebody came to drop
Yeah.
something off. She said my vehicle was in the way, so if I was going to pull in the back, pull up further.
Okay.
And you know, you pull in, you don't know where people's septic tanks and stuff are, and you pull in, you don't pull in as far until you need to.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, but that's it.
So that day, did you pull in the front or the back? When you first showed up to meet her?
The first of the week, I pulled in and back.
Okay.
I don't know if I was there later that week for sure.
Last time that you were down there.
The last time I was down there, I pulled in the back.
Okay. And she meet you outside or in?
I'd go up, knock on the door.
Okay.
So you go talk to somebody, you go knock on their
Well, I
door.
don't know if she was waiting for you outside or what.
Nah.
And so you've been down there a couple of times that week?
It could have been 2 times that week. It might have just been once. And
Any kind of ledgers or anything like that? Anything on
can
your
I
phone?
see my one phone? The little one that's broken. That's the new one. No, that's the new one. That's the little one that's broken.
This one?
Yeah.
Just tell me where it's at.
Is there a reason you want me touching my phone?
I mean, you can touch your phone right there.
Okay. That's how you get into it.
Okay.
And let me see. That's a calculator. I always hit that for calendar.
Okay, I get those confused.
Prince makes a show about needing to check his schedule on his phone, still trying to pretend that day isn't cemented in his memory.
Okay.
Yeah, 27th is Friday, and that's not ringing a bell?
No, because I have my events marked here and here.
Okay. So you were down there on the 25th?
I think I was down there on the 24th.
Okay. And what would she have you working on, or would she send you down there for work on that you didn't work on?
Well, she told me she had a truck or something that I need a truck. And she said that she had some paperwork that was going to be done on a truck at that point in time, and I was going to look at a truck and possibly get a truck from her to go ahead and do some work.
Okay.
And she was mostly interested, and she also had some stuff that I really wasn't qualified to do, but I got a buddy that I thought I might be able to talk to
Yeah.
to help me with it. She said she had some termite damage and they needed some boards replaced under her house.
Okay, gotcha. So she was more so just having you look at something and see what needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
How much does she typically pay you when you do come down?
That's the problem. I never got a work from her this time. I went down 3 or 4 times because I thought I was going to get a good job out of it, and the woman never. It was always one excuse after
So it's
another.
3 or 4 times you've been down there?
Yeah, 3
And
times.
she's never given you work?
No,
And you keep going down there, so what's she paying you?
nothing. I didn't get paid
So it's
anything.
a waste of money, a waste of time and money.
But you know, a lot of my time, I go to look at things. I'm supposed to go look at a job tomorrow, which I'm betting probably won't happen at this
Okay.
point. But I don't know if I'm going to have that. You look
Yeah.
at stuff, and the thing is, she's so sweet and so nice,
Yeah.
and you want to help her.
Mhm.
And she says, if I get work for her, I'll probably get other work.
That's good. I mean, that's great.
I mean,
Well, that's kind of how it works. That's how you market yourself, and
yep,
you do good work for her. She tells her friends. Next thing
Yep.
you know, you're doing everybody on the street, especially a small community like that,
Yep.
where everybody knows everybody.
that's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, and she had mentioned a lady that she's doing work for. That she goes over there on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and sometimes on Fridays. I think it's Wednesday. And her schedule got switched. She had to do different things. But anyway, she goes and takes care of this really old lady. It has places near Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And she she had sold a couple of her places, and she mentioned to me that old lady might need some work too. And I was thinking, oh cool, if I can get some work at Gatlinburg, Tennessee, I can take my wife with me.
On vacation.
Yeah, and the place I'm supposed to go do work for real soon here is at Lake Tillery. Some people that have a lake house.
Yeah.
That's a 2.5 hour drive from my house, man.
Yeah.
And when you figure where she's at, it's really not that much farther than Charlotte. And it's also a lot better traffic.
Right.
You go going towards Charlotte on 85 and things get
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we know all the
I
time.
grew up in Charlotte.
Did you?
I did.
Okay.
Sure did. Alright, so
Why
what,
are we...
what you're telling us is that's not you on the 27th? Food Line parking lot, Travelers Rest?
I don't think so.
That's not you.
That's me. Where's that?
Food Line, August 27th, 2021, 9:23,
Okay.
32 seconds. Ringing a bell?
Yep. Yeah, I went down to Food Alliance. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were you doing down there that day?
She wanted me to look at some stuff at her house,
Okay.
and she picked me up at Food Lion because she wanted me with her when she was gonna go meet some guy for God dang it, private investigator.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
She wanted me to meet her down there.
Okay.
She was nervous because she says, I'm not sure I trust this guy. And she knows I've been in the military. And she says, will you meet me? And I go, yeah. And I said, where do you want to meet? She says, well, he's been talking to me. I guess I'm supposed to meet him at a restaurant. And I'm supposed to meet him down near Food Lion.
Okay.
So I went down to Food Lion, and she met me. And he didn't show up where we went to next. And she had been trying to get a hold of him. And we went to her house for about 2 hours. And then we went back to Food Lion. And it just
She just dropped you off and you went home and you just noticed something about PI?
Well, she wanted me to see if this guy was going to meet her where he was supposed to meet her.
Do you know where?
There was a hotel lobby that he had finally said, meet me at the hotel.
Okay.
She says, drive up there and see if he's there. And I drove up there, and things are starting to sound really squirrely to me. So she says, when you go up there, I want you to drive me around and take care of stuff.
Okay. So you drove her around?
I drove her around.
Where'd you all drive to?
I wound up driving her back to her house. Because
Okay.
she said her daughter was coming up and she'd have her daughter help her pick up the car and stuff.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So,
Because her daughter was supposed to meet her.
did you ever meet her daughter?
I've never met her daughter.
Okay. So that's you and the Food Lion,
Mm-hmm.
checking out.
Mm-hmm.
You bought some yogurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure.
My stomach was upset. I
Like
eat
yogurt?
yogurt a lot. Is that me buying you?
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's the Clark. That's the
yeah.
Clark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know.
Mm-hmm. Can I see that? My glasses.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
That's her pulling alongside. Food Line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her tag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Her car.
Yeah, I told you I've been down there Thursday or
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought.
Well, you know, at first you weren't sure about that, but you know, I'm glad we got that rectified.
Well, I wasn't sure on the dates.
What's that bag you got?
I don't have a clue.
You don't have a clue? What about that? Is that more of a bigger, better blown up? That's you getting in, by the way, if that jostles your memory.
Yeah, but I mean,
Do you remember what was in the bag?
yeah. No, I don't remember what's in that bag.
Okay.
She had several different bags.
Okay.
Because she said she was gonna go give this guy she was meeting some different things to try to pay for a private investigator, because she.
Prince claims he doesn't remember what was in the bag, and he tries to give them a story about Suttles meeting up with some type of private investigator. The story doesn't add up, but the detectives are letting him build it up before they tear it down.
She told me she went and took out a $4,000 loan against her vehicle.
Why'd she do that?
She said she needed to, and then he kept wanting more money and wanting more money.
Yeah, she normally carry a lot of cash or jewelry or anything like that?
Not that I know
Does she
of.
have a lot of savings that you know of?
I don't have a clue.
Okay.
I wasn't privy. I doubt that she had much savings because she talked to me about doing work for her, and she kept saying she didn't have money. In fact, she went down and got $4,000 or $4,500 or some dumb thing off of her car
Wow.
and paid this guy to do private investigator work.
Yeah, so she's kind of hurting a little bit, I bet. Little old lady like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go up to her house, right? So that's like 9:30ish in the morning. You go straight up there. What do y'all do for that 2 hours?
I just sit there and talk to her.
Okay. What'd she talk about?
The job, the bitching about her daughter, the bitching about the fact that her son-in-law has hidden shitloads of assets. She says she wants her Corvette, or not her Corvette, her daughter's Corvette. He's hidden a boat. He's hidden all kinds of stuff. Something about he's been threatening her daughter. That's why she's getting the private investigator. The daughter got arrested for threatening her. Just all kinds of shit.
Oh wow. And then why did she want you to go back down to the hotel and drive around all the shops and whatnot? What was she scared
She
of?
said he was going to meet her at the hotel. She says, these guys driving a big black truck. Go see if he's even there, because I'm nervous.
Yeah.
And she says, he knows what my vehicle is. So if we're going to go look for him, I don't want to be in my vehicle. I want you to be with me for a little bit. I said, okay. So I left her vehicle for her. And I went and got into my vehicle with her. And we drove around, and she called her daughter. And she wanted to know why her daughter wasn't there earlier or something. And she said to her daughter, she says, are you coming up? And her daughter said yes. Now, that might have been earlier when we were at her house. She was still trying to get her daughter.
So, yeah.
But at any rate,
So she did talk to her daughter that day?
Hmm?
She did talk to her daughter that day?
She said she did. That's who she said she was on the phone with. And her daughter was going to come meet her. And her daughter didn't come meet her, which is why she got nervous and wanted me with her. Because she wanted me to make sure that she was okay. And then she says, just take me home, because we had come back down this way. This guy had told her to come back down this way to some gas station or something. He was having all kinds of issues, and she was afraid he was running her all over hell and back. Okay. And then she finally said, just drop me off at home. And if you drop me off at home, my daughter will pick me up. And I said, because I got to get going. I can't be doing this all day. So that's it.
What were you driving?
I was driving a blue car.
Okay.
Your wife's car or your car?
My wife's car.
You got a work truck?
No.
Okay. So that's y'all coming down 25, you and her together? Back towards the hotel?
It could be.
Okay, because that's her car. That's about 13:45 on the 27th.
Okay.
So you're with her there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not saying yeah. I'm just saying that could be her.
Yeah, here's a different angle. But I mean, we've watched this car, right?
Okay.
Here's y'all in the hotel parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh look, there's y'all backing in.
Yep.
Yeah, a couple of different copies of it. Backing in.
Yeah.
Oh look, you get out. Nobody else gets out.
I told you that.
You're walking around the car.
Yeah.
You wipe the entire car down.
Because I was worried.
You were worried. There's you walking across the parking lot in front of Little Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
And there's you getting back into your car and driving away.
Well, she's with me.
Look, man. Where's that?
I don't have a
We need to know. Listen, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You are a good dude. I honestly do believe that you screwed up years and years ago.
Okay.
And now.
Can I look at these?
What?
I just want to look and see what you're talking about.
Even though the pictures clearly show it is him, Prince tries to act like he isn't sure. The detective tells Prince that he is a good person who has made mistakes. This is an opening attempt to get Prince to be more forthcoming. But if that doesn't work, they will try less friendly tactics.
We need to hear this, man. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're not a bad guy.
Right.
Nobody is saying that you're some evil, twisted dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We need to know where it is. We've processed the car. We found the dirt. Where did you go off-road?
I never went
Where did
off-road
you
with her.
leave?
Oh! I can tell you exactly where she and I had gone off-road.
Please.
When we were going from 25 south,
Mhm.
there was, off to the right, there was a truck with a trailer and another vehicle there that had a for sale sign on it. And it looked like an older truck. And I needed a work truck. And I went ahead and I pulled in and with her, and then we pulled out. And it was right there on 25.
Where's right now? Her family is desperately looking for her.
She's missing right now.
Yes, Dan, where is Edna?
I don't have a clue.
Yes,
I
you
dropped
do.
her off at her house.
Dan, please listen. You did not drop her off at her house. We have followed that car the entire day up and down 25.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of minutes that are unaccounted for that are not by her house. Okay?
Which car? Mine or hers?
Dan, stop playing games. You know what we're
When I
talking
got,
about.
okay, I can help you here.
Okay.
You gotta give me a second. You gotta let me answer the questions when they're asked. When I dropped her vehicle off looking for the guy, she said she wanted me to take her and drive around in my vehicle. So I left her vehicle. I went down to Food Lion and she was in my vehicle with me. And I dropped her off at home.
Dan, we watched the video. She is not.
The car sits there.
It sits there, man.
No, not in her car.
No hurry.
My car.
We
I
watched you
dropped
go
her
back
off
to
with
Food
my
Lion.
car.
You did not drop anyone off, man.
I picked her back up. She sat in my car at Food Lion and I went back and got her.
No, you did not. When are you trying to say? Please explain. Explain yourself. Please explain at which point that we must have missed in the video that you dropped her off.
Okay.
We have a lot of it.
Okay. I get that. You don't have picture of her leaving Food Lion in my vehicle with me? If you don't, you should.
Why your vehicle never went back to her house? We have your vehicle, that silver car, going straight up 25 and not stopping at her house.
That's not true.
It is true.
I
Dan.
stopped at her house.
What's your wife gonna think about this?
Well, my wife would be very upset if I had done something, but I didn't, and I don't know where Edna is.
I think you do, Dan.
No. I don't know where Edna is.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Dan.
Let's go back to why you wiped the car down. What you said you were worried about what?
The only thing I did was because I knew I'd been in and out of her car all the time with her. I'm like, there is no way in hell I'm going to just leave this thing here. Because she's got somebody that's after her.
Who would be after
Who's
her?
after her?
That guy with the fucking truck, she said she didn't trust him.
The PI?
Yeah, so somebody she hired as a PI.
His story's totally different. He's been doing work for her. I mean, on the son-in-law thing. I mean, we've interviewed. I mean, he had he didn't meet with her today. So that's just,
Right, that's why I said she hired another PI. I'm sure you're recording this. If you
Yeah,
go back and
everything
listen
is.
to it, I told you she said she had to hire another PI
So-
and she sold stuff.
So here's what we have. You're leaving and going back to the hotel.
Mhm.
Back the car and wipe it off.
Mm-hmm.
And we got you going. Why behind the hotel? Why was it there?
I was just parked over there because she said she was wanting me to see the guys if the guy actually showed up there. She said, I'm getting worried about this
At the
guy.
back of the hotel.
Yeah.
But you didn't stay there but a second. You jumped right out and wipe it down and take off.
The woman was carrying a gun. She was scared for her life.
She had a gun?
Yeah.
What kind of gun?
Some kind of little semi-automatic she had with her.
Okay. But then you go across through 2 or 3 other businesses to get over to Food Line, and you get in your car and leave. Is that correct? That's
I
what
just
you did.
walked this kind of the straightest
I
route from there to
understand.
Food
You
Line.
did, you did, and it's not making sense. I mean, you're the last person to be in a vehicle you wiped out of a lady that's missing.
That sounds really fucked up.
It does,
Mhm.
it does, that's why we're here. But, and then it's fucked up as it sounds, we're having to do it right, we're gonna do it right but we got guys down there now that are homing in about where we think she might be. A lot of people, this is just getting bigger and out of control. I mean, a lot of people.
You think she might be where?
Somewhere between her house and the hotel where you dropped the car off.
You think that I have this lady,
Possibly.
okay, I'm gonna say this.
Possibly.
Okay,
Enlighten me if I'm wrong.
You think, I imagine the way you're saying this, you think she's probably not alive.
We don't know.
We don't know, man. We
Okay.
don't know.
She could be somewhere.
Okay.
She could be going on a rendezvous with somebody. We don't know.
Well, she was kind of a little horny old broad.
Was she? Because we've looked at everything about her, it seems that way.
Yeah, she's a horny little old broad.
Did she ever pay you that way?
Hmm?
Did she ever pay you that way?
No.
Go down there?
No, I did not.
Look, man, it's totally cool if she did.
I realize that.
But
It would be,
you have it all the
if
time.
that would be something that made sense. Okay. Look,
We're having to do this because this is the situation. So
Okay.
you're the last one with her, we got you on video. Wipe her out.
I'm not,
So,
I'm not denying I was with her.
so
Okay. You think, this is what I want to see what you're thinking here. You think that someplace from Food Lion to her house, this lady disappeared?
yeah, we know that. I mean, she disappeared between her house.
I dropped her off at her house. I dropped her off at her house because she said her daughter was coming up. And she says, I'll let my daughter and I deal with this. Because her daughter was supposed to meet this guy. And she was real afraid because her daughter hadn't got there. She wanted me to go with her instead because she wanted someone with
So
her.
her daughter was on the way.
That's what she
To
said.
go down and drop her off to get her a Jeep.
I don't know if that's why her daughter was on the way. Her daughter was going to, she said that would happen.
But why would you wipe the car down if you're nervous? I mean, you know it. Now you've known her for years.
The more he tries to explain, the more Prince gets tangled up. He wasn't expecting so many cameras to have picked up his image, and he knows this is going to be a difficult story to sell.
Because she was having me leave a vehicle somewhere where someone might be after her, that she said that guy knew her vehicle and I wasn't going to have part of me on that vehicle. And that's it. People do strange, weird shit. I've got a real bad past from a long time ago. And unfortunately, my past from a long time ago, a kidnapping, probably makes this look really stupid. But that's not me,
Not
dude.
really.
I didn't.
That's
do
what we're
anything
saying,
bad.
man.
I didn't do anything bad. No.
Who do you think would have?
The guy that was hunting her down, or not hunting her down, that's a bad term. The guy that was supposed to be doing PI work that she said was kind of shady, she got a hold of this guy through some people she said she used to know years ago. And she said, they're not the most savory characters, but if I need something done to my son-in-law, I can get it done. And he can get the information for me.
Well, let's ask you this then. Benefit of the doubt. Between her house and the hotel, being you've been in there a couple times, is there any place she frequents between here and there that you know of that she mentioned that we need to go check and see where she lives?
Okay, I don't know the area real good,
Yeah.
but I can tell you another place that I've been to with her previously when we were out looking at stuff and
Or any
checking out
place she
materials.
mentioned? Go ahead.
There's a fruit market that's like got fruit and vegetables and something not that far from that.
One right across the street from her house.
No.
So it's further up or down?
This is down further down. I think it's 25. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
So you're going down, left or right? If you're going toward Trails Road.
We were on the right hand. We were on the same side of the road as her.
Uh-huh.
But she had driven around to a couple other little places she had stopped that day. And this was like 3-4 weeks before that.
Okay.
But you asked me if there's other places she goes.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are other
we can
places
get
she
you.
goes.
What about those folks that you said that when y'all were coming back down, y'all stopped?
Looked at the truck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Truck and trailer?
Mhm.
Why'd y'all stop there?
What is it?
It was just there, we just pulled in and looked. I said, oh, that's kind of cool, let me see that. And I went ahead and did the loop around, came back, pulled in,
Okay.
and looked. I didn't even get out of the vehicle. I just looked and saw the price on it, which I don't remember, but
Where was it at?
on 25 heading south, I believe. If you want me to go down there with you and show you where all I've been, I'll be glad to.
Yeah, we may do that. We may.
What, Was anyone like standing outside selling it, or was
No,
it like a used
no,
car
no,
lot?
no. It was just like in fact, you go down, there's a little road right there,
Okay.
and
Remember the name of the road?
no.
Tell you what, we brought a map. You see the map? This is a makeshift map that we have constructed. It's topographical, so
Okay.
you can actually see design.
I don't know why it'd be that important where we stop to look at a vehicle for 30
We're checking.
seconds.
We're checking.
We'll bid your storage just like everybody else.
Okay. All right. Where's her house?
This
Help me
is
out.
25. Her house is right there.
Okay, and now is North Carolina that way or this way?
That way. This is
Okay.
north.
So when we were coming down this way, yeah, I move.
Yeah, go for it.
You don't. I just.
Nope. Nope.
It was kind of like a little road like this, or just something off like this, and there was a lot there, and people, it looks like parked vehicles there for sale.
Which is north, which is south?
That's north.
Which road?
It was like something like right here, or, because there was a little road. You see how that looks? Is that a little road?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah, see me either.
Yeah, it just looks like a driveway, but where's her house?
He said it was up here.
Yeah, okay, and there's a food stand on that side.
That's not it.
So you come down.
I don't know where the fruit stand is. I'm not gonna be able to find it for you.
That's fine, it's,
But there's like, you see how this says Steamy Valley Road?
yeah,
There's something like, well, that's not it because there's buildings right there.
right.
Okay, but it was kind of going this way. There was a road that come off this way. It didn't look like a big main road, but there was a little place right here that you pull in, and people had vehicles out there for sale. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about if you're from down
If we
there.
get down there, I think we've probably driven by.
So you stopped at Food Lion to meet with Edna to go back up to her house to meet with the PI guy?
Yeah, I told her I'd meet her there because I was getting some yogurt.
So you drove an extra 15 minutes down to Food Lion just to get yogurt?
Because she said she was supposed to meet the guy down that way.
Okay. But then you drove back up there
Back up where?
to her house. So you met with her at Food Lion, you got your yogurt,
Mm-hmm.
you met with her at Food Lion, and drove back to her house. So you met with her around 9:30-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You go up there.
Because the guy wasn't where he was supposed to be. She called, he said he would be there in a couple hours.
Okay. Call her house phone or cell phone?
She had a cell phone on her. She had 2 cell phones on her.
Okay. 2 cell phones she has.
Mm-hmm. She had a little flip phone, and she had a bigger cell phone. And she was talking to her daughter on one, and she talked to the guy on a little flip phone.
Okay. Gotcha. And then you go up there
Mm-hmm.
to her house.
We went to her house because he said it was going to be a while.
Okay, what did it say about wood?
And then she called her daughter and talked to her daughter and said, "Are you coming to meet me or what?" Because she hadn't come to meet her.
Okay. And what did her daughter say?
I don't know. I couldn't hear the other side of the conversation. But she told me, she says she'll be here in a little while.
Can you circle where you think y'all stopped?
Prince doubles down on his story, which isn't surprising. Many people think if they sound charming and reasonable enough that they can fool the police.
Why not take a field trip?
I can't circle where I think because I don't have a place I think. I just know it was on that road.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to try to...
It's on the right, you think?
Oh.
Yeah, well, because we were going south toward Food Lion.
All right.
When we went back down that way, this guy ran her around. She was talking to him on a cell phone, ran her around 3 or 4 times, and she was getting more and more and more nervous about it.
Mhm.
And that's why I got nervous, because I'm like, this sucks, this sucks. I'm in the middle of this. I got this old lady with me. This sucks. So, but after I got done, she said her daughter, she says, take me back home. She wanted some of her medicine. I took her back home. We went into her house. And that was the first time I'd been in her house that day. And when we were in the house, she, again, I don't know if she talked to her daughter again or not. And, you know, come on. I don't know.
We don't see that on her phone records or her daughters. Her daughters they're very cooperative. They're riding the roads looking for her.
Sure.
So we've
You don't see where she talked to her daughter at all that day?
No.
I think you need to look
It was
again.
It's on the morning that the daughter told us.
Okay, okay. You don't see where she talked to her daughter at all that morning?
One time.
One time.
Okay.
The run around, are you coming to get me? We don't see that.
I don't know. I know she talked to her daughter one time with me.
Have you ever met her, the daughter?
Never met her daughter.
Okay.
You ever met her son?
Never met anybody in her family but Edna.
Okay.
I've met no people
You ever
other
meet her
than
neighbors?
No.
Your neighbors, so, but you've driven to before?
Sure.
Okay.
I drove to this house like 3 or 4 years ago.
And you were up there earlier in the week too, this house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, we're gonna be able to see your car pulling out at this house on those days?
Oh my God. I'm good to go. You know why I'm good to go?
Why?
She's got cameras all around her house. I'm good to go because she's got cameras. It'll show that I dropped her off.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She's got cameras. She even told me she kept cameras because she was keeping them there because if people show up or something, she wants to have a record of who was there. It will show that I dropped her off and I pulled away.
You talking about her house cameras?
Mm-hmm.
That don't work.
What? No, come on, man.
Somebody unplugged them.
She told me that those cameras were there to keep track. She told me that a long time ago.
Long time ago stuff.
Yeah, she was talking to me about the cameras and stuff.
Their batteries are dead.
I dropped her off. She was going to have her daughter take her back to get her vehicle when she was done.
Okay, so y'all drove down, right? She's with you in the Jeep, okay? You go back to the food
Jeep? Her Jeep, yeah.
She's with you. You go back to the food line first, and you drop her off there. She's gonna wait by your car.
You lost me. Can I have some more water?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm having trouble even
Understand.
talking.
So,
You understand the question I was asking?
that's fine. So,
You guys said I did something to this lady?
we don't know. That's why we're trying to find it.
Man, I'm going to tell you something right now.
You can tell me where to look.
Honest engine. If I knew where Edna was, I would tell you. If I knew who this guy was in this truck that she was having me watch for her with, she asked me if I would help protect her and take care of her because she wanted to make sure that this guy didn't do something stupid because she was hiring somebody shady. Because she
It's a
wanted to
PI.
have something done to her son-in-law. She had to.
Did she ever say PI's name?
Mm-mm. No, she said she hired one guy and gave him like $6,000 as a PI. I think that's what it was. Or maybe it was $6,000 she needed for her daughter because her daughter was in jail. At any rate, she had mentioned $6,000, or she had already gone through $6,000 between the daughter and the PI or whatever. She said that friends helped her find another guy that said he was really good at this, but she didn't trust him. But she was going to go ahead and meet with him. She didn't want to meet with him alone. She wanted to meet with him with
But
her
you were
daughter.
driving the Jeep down to go meet, and then you backed it, let her out, or how'd that work? She was gonna meet him where? You said that.
There was a hotel, or I don't even know the name of the hotel. It's right next to the food line.
Okay. Did y'all stop at a restaurant on the way down?
We stopped at a restaurant. No, I've never been to a restaurant with that.
All right. That's, so when
She said that she was supposed to meet him. She said she was supposed to meet him, and she didn't want to do it alone because her daughter wasn't there, and that's why I went with her.
And so you're
Prince is exaggeratedly excited when he brings up the security cameras, and the acting is just as poor when he switches to shock and being told they have no batteries. As a handyman who was often at the house, he would have had ample opportunity to find out or make sure the cameras were disabled. Prince also keeps insisting that there were more messages between Suttles and her daughter, even though there are no records to prove this statement.
going to the hotel. She goes where?
She said, my vehicle. She said, he knows what I look like. He knows what my vehicle looks like. She says, can you go see if he's there and if he's got somebody with him? Because I'm worried he might have somebody with him that might do something stupid. Because she was supposed to bring him money.
Okay.
So I said, sure, I'll drive up there and drive around. It would throw him off if it wasn't. If he was looking for her in her vehicle, he'd be like, oh, it's a vehicle that looks like. So I go up there and I drop off the vehicle. I go back down to my vehicle to where she is sitting at. She's perfectly safe and fine in my vehicle at Food Lion. I said, what do you want to do? Because she says, if we're going to keep looking for him, I don't want to be in my vehicle because I don't want him to spot me if they're doing something stupid. I'm getting scared. I said, okay. Then she said, you know what? I need my medication. Take me home. Let's get my medication. And I got her home. I said, what do you want to do now? I said, because I can't be doing this all day. I got to get back home. I got to do the things I'm doing. And she said, tell you what, my daughter's going to be coming up here. She can take me to go get my vehicle so you don't have to run around all over. Thanks for everything you've done. I said, okay, I'll see you later.
Have you ever done this for her before, or anybody?
No.
You're not like a bouncer or a bodyguard or anything like that?
No.
You've never had to do this?
No.
This is a pretty interesting story.
She's scared.
Yeah, I understand. But about 30 minutes ago, you couldn't even remember going the day you went down there.
I couldn't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. I said, I don't know if it's Thursday or Friday.
And then we get this elaborate story.
It's not elaborate.
Well, I mean, it's detailed if you're not
But I did, all you started out with was, were you there Friday? And I'm like, I don't know. It was Thursday or Friday, and I'd been there earlier in the week.
Why'd you move her driver seat up? Why'd you move her driver's seat up?
Move her driver's seat up? I never moved her driver's
You're
seat.
the last one in the car in the video.
I never moved her driver's seat when I got in it.
You drove without Cat?
Yeah.
Okay. All the way pushed up?
You
was pushed.
Well, I didn't want to. All I did was sit in her car, drive it up there. It was just right around the corner, man. I'm not going to go adjusting somebody's seats and playing with their seats.
It's right around the corner. It's like a 10-minute drive from her house to the hotel.
It's 4 or 5 miles down there.
I just never moved a vehicle seat. I don't move my wife's vehicle seat when I get in my wife's car.
So when you were driving her back, did she say anything?
Back to the house?
Yeah.
She said, I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I really need my medication.
What kind of meds?
I don't know. Come on. She's always. This is what I can tell you what she said she had wrong with her.
Okay, fair enough.
But I can't tell you the name of a med.
Okay, what'd she have wrong with it?
Give me just a second. It's something to do with your intestines. I'm losing the term here. Gastroenteritis or something like that, to where she said she got diarrhea, and she said this was upsetting her so much that she was feeling like she was going to have diarrhea and she needed her medication. And she was saying she was feeling dizzy, and she wanted medication because she was feeling dizzy, and she was feeling upset. And this whole thing with this guy was driving her nuts because she didn't trust him and she was scared. So I took her home, I dropped her off, and I left. I promise you. I took her home, dropped her off, and I left.
What time did you get home? Back up here? Did you come back straight home?
No, I didn't come straight home.
Where'd you go?
Well, I stopped different places. I stopped at Tractor Supply and get bird food.
Okay.
I got a bunch of chickens and guinea hens and turkeys.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty certain that I stopped at Tractor Supply and got bird food. And I probably stopped in at Lowe's. It seems like I can't make any damn trips anywhere through Forest City that I don't stop at Lowe's at least once.
Is that where Tractor Supply is, Forest City?
Yeah.
So when you dropped her off the last time, y'all are coming back from TR after leaving her car at the hotel. You drive back up to her house, and you turn down North Old Buncombe to park the back way like she likes it, right, and come in.
If that's the name of the road, sir, I don't know.
Yeah, but her house is right there on the corner.
Yeah.
And you come in, you turn into her, right? She gets out. Does she say anything when she gets out?
I walked to the house with her.
Okay.
I walked up to the house with her. I got myself a drink because I was thirsty. She gave me a bottle of water.
Okay, good. Okay, very friendly. And
like many suspects who believe themselves to be clever, Prince gives a highly detailed description of his movements, thinking this makes his story sound more genuine. In reality, he is just giving them more opportunities to trip him up.
She sat there for a couple minutes. She went and got her medication, and she took some medication.
Okay.
She has medication. I saw her get it out of a drawer next to her computer.
Okay. And she takes her meds, and she go to bed? You leave?
She said she was going to go lay down.
Okay, and that's when you left? Okay, so your car's parked there, you make a left-hand turn onto 25 and come on up, right?
I don't want to be lying to you here.
Her house was right there.
Okay.
So you come in, right? You come
I
in.
came, no. I drove right straight through because there's a place you can see where you can drive. And when I left there, I went like this.
Okay, so you turn left and got went
Yep.
right here.
North.
Okay.
Pardon?
Went north, so.
Oh,
So
I thought you said no. I'm like, yeah, I did.
check this out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Her house,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
This is an antique shop,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a camera
Mm-hmm.
overlooking her driveway. Your car then pulled out and made a left-hand turn.
Well, then I backed out and came down this way.
But you remember the details, everything else, but you don't
But
remember this?
I've been there enough times that it could be fucked up. But I'm pretty sure I did what I told you I did.
Why'd you totally reroute and go north of Buncombe then?
No, I never did that.
Okay, so you made a left-hand turn.
At some point.
At
Yeah.
some point, you
Yeah.
made a left-hand turn
Mhm.
out directly in front of the camera that we can see everybody leaving Edna's house coming that way from, and your car did not make
Sir,
a left-hand turn. The left.
then-
Dan, listen.
Okay, I'm listening. You listen to me, I'll listen to you.
Last vehicle leaving was at 1343 when Edna's Jeep made a right-hand turn going down 25. The next vehicle to pull out is her son at around 1800 on the 28th.
What time was Edna's Jeep leaving?
About 1343.
Okay.
No other vehicles left is what I'm getting at, Dan.
Okay, but I may have come out and done this. I'm not 100% certain. I've been in and out of there enough times to where I'm not 100% certain how I got out of there. But I would have believed I would have gone straight. But that's not necessarily true. But anyway, I did not do anything to Edna except drop her off at home.
She ever talk about meeting anybody else?
Yes.
Do you know who? Anybody that
The guy with the truck. Oh, you mean other than him?
Yeah.
She said that she'd been talking to some guy online that she was going to go out with. Now, I don't know if she was going to meet him that day or not. She just talking about the fact that she'd had a couple guys she was talking to online.
How long have you known Ed?
About 4 years.
4 years.
Mhm.
How many times do you think how often do you talk to her? Even if it's on phone, internet.
Okay, 4 years ago,
Yeah.
I talked to her like 2 or 3 times. And in the last 3 months, I've probably talked to her a dozen times, maybe more.
What kind of situation is going on in her life? She mention anything to you that might be going on, or I mean, is she upset? Or is she depressed?
She's very upset. I would say she was very depressed.
Did she say anything about where she frequents? Any place that would stand out in your mind that we need to go where she wants to be quiet, be by herself, anywhere that we could go look?
Oh, you need to go see if she's hanging out somewhere?
Yeah.
I
That's
wouldn't
the only
know
thing
anything
we
like
want to know
that.
right now is just
The
where
only
she's
thing, she has a lady she works for that she stays with a lot. I don't mean stays overnight or anything.
Mhm.
She stays there working with her.
Right.
And I know where that's at, because she pointed it out to me. It's a little trailer park retirement community, and she said that's the second trailer, I think she said, where I go there and talk to her and stay with her.
Oh.
That's the lady with the houses in Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
But whatever the case, man, all I know is, yes, I was with her. Yes, I tried to help the lady out. I got tired of being drug all over the place. I took her home and I left.
Mhm.
And that's it.
Who else do you think we need to talk to?
I would talk to her son-in-law.
Okay. Who else?
Obviously her daughter's cooperating with you, and her daughter wouldn't have done anything to her. The only person that could have possibly wanted to do anything to her would have been the son-in-law, because she said he was very, very controlling and very mean to her daughter. And she said that he knew that she had gotten the private investigators looking for her daughter's stuff. So to me, it sounds like he could be somebody that might have done something or know somebody that did something.
So she's very, you said it yourself, she's a very horny old lady. What
Yeah,
kind
because
of-
she's always talking about guys. And she said my daughter thinks that I can get any guy I want.
What kind of relationship is she having with folks?
I think it's more of
A sexual thing?
she mentioned to me that there was a guy that she'd had a sexual relationship with, like,
When given an opportunity to point a finger at a different suspect, Prince can't name them fast enough. He is especially excited to set them on the trail of some supposed romantic interest who is conveniently nameless.
7, 8 years ago,
Yeah.
that she said was much younger. And she said she had recently got back in touch with him online, I think, or on the phone.
Any idea who he might be?
No, she never gave me names.
Anyone else she's sleeping with?
I don't know if she was sleeping with him, sir.
Or-
I don't know.
So she just liked to talk to guys, she didn't do anything sexual?
I don't know. I don't know. She said she was talking to people, because I asked her, said, I was talking to her about her thing. She said, meeting guys, and I said, her daughter's worried about her meeting guys and stuff like that.
How's she meeting guys? She's 80 years old.
Online.
Do you know which websites?
No.
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 Okay. So not like Match or eHarmony, nothing like that?
I don't know anything about Match or eHarmony with
Yeah.
her.
What's the, you got the,
Country, what's that?
Farmers Only?
You can name a dozen of them, but she never mentioned to me the name of a dating
Plenty
site.
of Fish.
I don't know if she's on a dating site.
Mingle 2.
Online doesn't necessarily mean a dating site. I don't know.
What'd she say she likes to do day to day then? Did she ever talk to you about that?
She took care of her dog.
Okay.
She had an old dog. I had to chase her dog around the yard with her one day because her dog wouldn't come back in. Dog's name is Winter, I think.
What kind of dog is it?
Black, furry, yappy.
Yappy.
Little yappy fur ball. Looks like a collie, but really small and really dark.
Okay.
But not a collie, just a little yappy black fur ball.
Did you see any suspicious cars up there that day?
I have never seen any suspicious vehicles or anything suspicious going on at all.
Okay.
The only thing that was suspicious to me is, why did you hire some guy that you think is shady and now you're afraid of him? And they'd had an argument or something. He had given her a phone to keep in touch with him on. And
Yeah. And how many PIs did she have?
okay, let me say that she says one was a PI, the other one
Yeah.
was working as a PI. Or
Yeah.
she felt I asked her too, and she says, I know some people from a long time ago
Yeah.
that have, the term wasn't checkered past,
Okay.
but she has some people that she knows that she got a guy's name from that would be able to follow him around and find out shit and possibly do things, because she was real worried about the fact she was real worried about the fact her daughter had a court date coming up and she wanted this guy's stuff found before the court date.
When was her daughter's court date?
I asked her that,
What'd she tell you?
and she says, we haven't got it yet.
Oh, but she's worried that.
It's gonna happen any day, and then
Yeah.
if her daughter goes to there, she said her daughter was getting $4,000 a month, but her son-in-law was trying to get it reduced, and she was very concerned about her daughter. She was scared to death about her daughter, because she says her daughter tried to commit suicide or something,
Oh wow.
and that her daughter had been in jail, and the judge in the county she was in jail had been really mean to her. And I hope this lady was telling me the truth, because if she was spinning me a yarn, I'm gonna sound like the biggest fucking liar to you on the planet.
Did Edna?
Does any of this make sense to you from what I'm saying?
It's all very, very interesting. You know, I mean, the more information, the better. Did
No, but I mean, when your investigation, did you find that her daughter had had problems and was going through a divorce? And,
Oh yeah.
okay.
Did Edna ever make any suicidal ideations?
Do you mean that she'd said I can't take this anymore. I can't take this anymore. I've had about enough of this.
Where would
But
she go?
but she did not say something to me that sounded like I'm going to kill myself.
Prince is clutching at any straw he sees. Now he claims that Suttles may have been in the frame of mind to end her own life.
Did she ever tell you about like her favorite places to walk or go, anything like that? Because
She said that she used to, what was the name of the place? I made fun of it when we were going south one day, because we'd gone more than one day to different places together. And, you know, you get public relations with people and you get to talking to them and they get to where they like you, you get more work. At first I thought I was gonna get some actual work. So we were going south. This wasn't that day, okay? And I made fun of this name of this street, and she said there's a park down there. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was.
There was a park with a funny name.
The road was. Is there like a Rabbit Swamp Road or Rabbit something road south of her?
Yeah, there may be.
Yeah, maybe.
Sounds,
Yeah, pull up the map.
it sounds like it might be.
You were asking me if there's places she liked to go, and she said she used to like to go there sometimes because it was nice and quiet. Can you have, by any chance, can you point to me where Food Lion is on here so I know
Yeah,
how
let's
far
take a
I'm
look.
looking?
Okay, alright. No, we don't have, I don't think.
We don't go south enough.
Yeah,
Alright, well, I'm just gonna go 25 and see if I can find the road name. I don't see the name of the road, and I don't know if you've gone out as far south as it was. And to be honest with you,
Yeah.
it could have very easily been another time I was with her and it wasn't off of 25, but I made fun of the road name. It was, I think it had something to do with a rabbit. And she says, there's a really nice park down there. Oh! I know another place she said she used to like to go.
Yeah.
She said, we have the only covered bridge I know of in this county. And she says, there's a covered bridge around here. She said, you should see it, it's really cool. And I never went to it with her, but she mentioned that she liked to go there and walk a covered bridge.
We know where it's at, and we'll send some guys there then. Might be a possibility.
You know, things come to you as you're,
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are, from things you've said, you probably don't believe me. You keep asking me where
Yeah,
Ed is.
there's some
But I'm not-
discrepancies, but
I get it, but it's not like major stuff, you know. I mean, I've been there with her more than one time. I've been around her. The whole day was kind of screw up to me. And I didn't honestly remember if it was Thursday or Friday. And when you asked me to begin with, were you down there? And I was like, the date didn't throw me. And I'm like, yeah, I was there earlier in the week and I was there Thursday or Friday.
So you've been down there multiple times, right?
4 times,
4 times.
I think. Don't hold me to
4
that.
times in your entire life?
No, not true.
Okay, how many times have you been down
I'd been down there before 3 or 4 years ago.
there? Okay, 3 or 4
So
years
not
ago.
in my entire life.
Okay. So 3 or 4 years ago you went down there and then kind of fell out, didn't really talk
No,
to
there
her?
was no fallout. I went down there, I'd met her. I wasn't going to do the job she wanted done because it was beyond my capabilities as one person, and it was also very hot at that time of year to be doing that kind of outside work. She said she wanted some work on her deck, and I was going to go do that, but it wasn't really something I would do by myself. So there was no other communication to her for a long time, and then she got my number and called me back. She keeps numbers. She's got a whole bunch of numbers, I guess. And by the way it sounded, she says, I kept your number. I always thought I might get back to you if I needed more work. And she got back to me, and she'd had 2 or 3 things, but it kept falling apart because she needed money for a PI for her daughter, money to take care of her daughter being in jail, money because she was suing somebody, and she said she got a judgment against them. And have you talked to the guy she had a judgment against?
She had judgment against?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Huh?
Tell me about that.
Okay. Are you guys really talking to me because you're like hoping to find something that's real,
yeah,
even if
but
it's
sure.
not
I
real?
don't know anything about that.
Dude, we're not gonna drive an hour and a half, 2 hours up here for bullshit.
Somehow, Prince manages to remember facts just in time to use them to get out of a tight situation whenever they start to corner him.
But you're not, if I'm talking to you about this, you're honestly interested in this. You just
Yes,
haven't
you-
like nailed me to the floor that you're gonna start trying me for something.
No, what we want to
We're
do is
interested.
Huh?
get information,
We are
because we
interested.
don't have
Okay,
information.
there's a guy she was having a bunch of problems with.
Okay.
She hired him. I believe she got his name from a family friend. She says, I've known the family forever. He came over and did some duct work for her. She said she paid him for doing all this duct work and found out that he'd only done just a little bit and didn't do all the duct work. And she sued him, and she had a judgment against him.
When?
Can I just,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
let me talk through it, and I'll answer anything you've got, I promise. She said she had a judgment against him, and there was also something, now I don't know if it's the truck is the same person, but she also had a lien to get a truck that she was gonna sell, that somebody picks up. But this guy went to court, and she had won against him. Well, when he was supposed to go back to court, she said he got an extension on it.
Okay.
And when she got the extension on it, or he got the extension on it, not she. He got an extension on it. She was supposed to go back this month sometime, I don't know the date. And she was hoping that he would just gotten the extension because he wanted the money, but she said she'd been having a lot of problems with him, and he was not being nice about it.
You know what I mean?
No, sir.
Shouldn't be hard to find.
I mean, you should be able to look up if she's got a judgment against somebody.
Like nobody's business.
This is why I asked him a few minutes ago, does any of this stuff make sense that her daughters had problems with this, that, and the other thing? Because otherwise I found
What
myself like
about,
an idiot.
so you've talked a lot about her daughter. What about problems with her son?
Actually,
Did she ever talk about her son?
he's very protective and kind of like the saint of her life.
Really?
You know, she loved her son very much, loves her daughter very much too. But she loves her son very much, and she loves her daughter very much. And she said that the daughter and the son don't get along at all. And I wouldn't take anything from that to have to do with this. But she said that her daughter and the son didn't get along because the daughter was kind of controlling where the son's kids was, and the daughter didn't have any kids, and the son took offense to it.
I mean, I guess you can see that, right? Okay.
So we've talked a lot. Her and I have had long conversations about stuff over
Are these-
coffee and shit.
Are these, so you driving down to her house, right? Time is money.
I do a lot of running around before I get a job where I make money. It's not unusual for me to go back to a place and look at things 2 or 3 times. It's not
Yeah,
unusual.
but I mean, you're going down to her house to look at things, see whether or not you can do it.
Mhm.
But you're sticking around and spend the whole day with her?
Good Lord, no.
How long would you spend time with her then?
I might be there an hour, I might be there 2 if we were having coffee and she just wanted to talk, or I was looking at stuff.
Okay.
And taking measurements and
Yeah.
checking on the line for prices and stuff, and what can I get materials for, and this, that, and the other thing. Just looking at things. In fact, that's how I knew she had cameras. She wanted me to power wash the house because she was gonna get somebody else to do it, and they didn't do it. And I said, yeah, I can do that, at least when I come down, I'll make a couple $100. So I was looking around at things, and I saw a camera or something. I said, I'll have to be careful not to hit those or something. And she says, yeah, I keep those for this, and that's why she told me about the cameras.
What'd she do for money? Do you know of anything? like
Yeah.
that? What'd she do?
She was, I believe she was a certified nurse's assistant from what she had said. Remember I told you about the old lady that had the places in Gatlinburg?
Yeah.
She went there like 3 days a week, and she earned money that way. And I would imagine it would be ridiculous to think that an 80-year-old lady didn't have Social Security.
Mhm.
And she said she used to do private investigator work and be a bail bonds person.
Prince probably thinks he sounds like a friendly, helpful handyman, but for those with more experience, he comes across as someone who preys on older women by using the same false charm he is trying with the detectives.
I don't know how long.
What about now? What kind of money or income does she have now?
Can't be a whole lot. Because if she went through all that money,
Yeah.
taking care of her daughter and taking care of trying to get things done around her house, and she told me, she says, well, I was going to go ahead and pay you to do the duct work, but I went ahead and borrowed money against my Jeep, and all I wanted to borrow against it was either $4,000 or $4,500, something
Okay.
like that. And she was using that to pay this guy in the black truck she had given some money to and was supposed to meet that day and give more money to. And she says, yeah, shady, she says, but this guy worries me.
And that's the PI guy?
If he was a PI, yeah.
Okay. Wannabe PI, self-proclaimed PI.
I'm sure you've run into it.
Yeah.
But I know this much.
What kind of truck he drive?
I don't drive a truck.
No, what kind of truck did he drive?
A black Ford. She says it's a black Ford truck.
Okay.
And she can keep meeting her. And she said one of the things that worried her is she says he keeps putting me off. And he said when she met him, he went and got her a little cell phone. And she says, whenever you talk to me, you use this. So everything between us is between us.
Do you know what so you have her big cell phone number?
I don't have it anymore, no. I haven't talked to her on a big cell phone in months.
Which number you communicate on?
Her number?
Yeah, Edna's.
Her number was, give me 1 second, 864-834-0253.
You got that memorized?
I'm good with numbers.
Okay.
I can tell you the tail number of every aircraft I've been in. People's names don't work for me, but numbers do.
Whatever. It's like
For some reason, numbers do.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So she's and that phone number was to her big phone or little phone?
I believe it was her house phone.
Okay. Gotcha. Did she use her cell phones a lot?
I never really seen her on her cell phone,
Okay.
except for that little flip.
Yeah.
And that was when she kept talking to that guy that day we were together.
Okay.
And he gave her that phone.
Gotcha. And that guy, she was supposed to meet that guy with the black truck that day, right?
Yeah, several different times.
At the Best Western?
Yep.
Okay.
That was the last place she was supposed to meet him.
Did she say what time?
When I was there and I drove around, she says, go see if his vehicle's there. She says, don't take your vehicle. She says, take mine and drive around there and see if he's there. And if he's not, just come back and get me.
Where was he supposed to be waiting?
She said he was going to meet her in the parking lot of the Best Western. And man, there
Parking lot or lobby? I could have sworn you said lobby earlier.
could have been.
Okay.
Could have been. Maybe. I was looking for the truck in the parking lot. The guy might have met her in the lobby. I don't know. But she said to me, go up there and look for that Ford truck. And there was a big ding in the back corner of it. So she said I'd be able to recognize it for sure. And he usually had a flag thing sticking up in it.
Yeah.
The whole place was full of vehicles.
Yeah.
Not in the parking lot, but out in front. There were vehicles
How many
everywhere.
times did you drive around looking for it?
I went in there one time.
A full lap?
No.
Okay.
I pulled in, parked, got out and looked. And that was it. And then I went back down and got her.
You didn't check the lobby?
Oh, good Lord, no.
You don't want to be seen?
Right. I'm not going to go in the lobby looking for some dude. First off, I don't know what he looks like close enough.
Yeah.
I got a brief description of him, but I don't know what he
What
looks
was the
like.
description she gave?
Tall, white, thin, long black hair.
Okay. And then you walk down and she's sitting waiting in your
And
car.
I said, what do you want me to do?
And what'd she say?
She said, I need my medicine. Can we go to my house? And I said, yeah. So I took her home, went inside, talked to her for a little bit. She got her medicine. She said, my daughter will take me back to get my vehicle. I said, good enough.
And you've never met her daughter or son?
You keep asking me the same questions. I understand
I'm
the
just making
tactic.
sure.
I've never met anybody in her family. If you'd like me to go to Greenville with you, I'm willing.
We may do that. We try to get a waiver so you can sign it.
Okay.
That way we can bypass this.
I don't want
Might
to
be
sit. I don't
you
want
know,
to sit in your
yeah.
jail for 2 fucking weeks, waiting for you to get extradition so that I can go to Greenville to take care of a problem that I didn't do.
Okay.
What happened to your knee?
I have a ramp outside my house.
Okay.
That when it rains, it gets incredibly slippery.
The detective is interested in Prince's knee, since the injury could have occurred during a struggle with Suttles or while disposing of her body.
We came back the other day and it had been raining. And I told my wife as she's coming up the ramp, I said, be careful, it's really slick. I took 2 more steps to go unload the trunk and my feet went out from underneath me
Oh, wow.
and whacked. Scraped
That's
it on.
nasty, man. And when'd you say you did that?
the other day, like 4 or 5 days ago.
Jeez, that looks bad.
It bled like crazy.
It still bleeds, bleeding a little bit, you can see.
Yeah, that's because I was picking at it.
Well, yeah, get big scab like that, you always want to pick at it.
The itch.
Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
No.
No?
And
Okay.
here's why. 1, I'm a nervous person, I don't do well. And 2, I've been told not to ever take one by the previous attorney I had because he said, you're not going to do well on it.
Because you're so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Heard that before. Are your phones gonna tell us, corroborate what you told us today, because we're gonna search them?
Tell you what.
I mean, your travels, because it, you know, documents, the phone does, it hits phone towers, where you're going, where you stop.
Fine.
Okay.
You want me to sign so you don't need a warrant?
We do, or either, you sign it.
I'll sign. You can search for where my phone says I
We
go.
may do that here in a minute, but
I'll be more than happy to.
we're gonna go figure out what we're gonna do next, to see if we can get you to Greenville and get you arraigned so you can get back on with your life, or whatever we're gonna do from here.
What are you actually charging me with?
Well, she's missing. The family's reported her car stolen, so auto theft. That's it for us.
You can't be having a stolen car if you're in possession of it, so it won't be auto theft. So
She
she's
wasn't in
missing
It's grand larceny.
Grand larceny.
the car. I don't have it.
You did, we got
You
your video.
did.
Okay. That's where we're at right now.
Okay. So this is kind of like back years ago, the false statement on the vehicle title. We'll use grand larceny so we can keep tabs on you.
Oh, it's a legitimate charge, but
But I told you, she said for me to drive it. You got to prove I didn't.
if she was here to tell us that, we'd be golden,
And
and you would be too.
But again, here's the thing. For you to show grand larceny, you have to show that I stole it and didn't have permission to use it. Okay? And you're not going to be able to prove that. So the grand larceny
Maybe
thing.
you'll get out of it then, it sounds like.
Okay, I'm not trying to get
I
out
know,
of
but it
anything.
sounds like you might have a,
I'm not trying to get
hold
out
on, call.
of something. What I'm just saying to you is you gotta have more than a grand larceny charge that you're wanting to hold me on. What are you wanting to hold me on besides grand larceny? What are you
we
planning
didn't
to
even say
charge
we
me
wanna
on?
hold you.
Oh,
We didn't even say that.
I thought you said you were gonna take me down there and
We are,
charge me with
but it's-
grand larceny.
It's a Greenville charge, yeah, we got a warrant on you.
So you gotta come to
It ain't what we
Greenville.
want to hold you on it, we're gonna charge you with it, but. it's
So I can bond out and go home?
Possibility,
Okay.
possibility.
You're not charging me with anything other than grand larceny?
Well, right now, unless something comes up that's just stupid.
We need to
find
charge
out.
you with anything else?
No, I'm just asking you what you're doing. If somebody
No.
had you sitting in this chair and there were two
I
detectives
can-
talking to you, wouldn't you wanna know what they're charging you with?
You're right, you're exactly right. So that's where we're at.
I'll tell you what, guys, let's make this really easy. If you wanna take me down to Greenville and arraign me for grand larceny of a vehicle, I will be more than willing to sign any extradition or anything you need to take me down there and arraign me on grand larceny.
You seem very, very relieved this is grand larceny.
Because you're talking to me about a missing person.
And not murder or kidnapping,
Yeah,
nothing like that. I mean,
those are biggies
I mean,
compared to grand
those two,
larceny.
yeah.
And the reason I'm relieved is, okay, if somebody was questioning you, saying that someone's missing and that you're the last person that saw them, wouldn't you be relieved that they didn't think you kidnapped or killed somebody?
Well, I'll let you know if I'm ever in that chair.
But doesn't that make sense to you? I've been real honest with you guys. I've told you what was going on.
You done?
Yeah, let's see if we can get our paperwork.
Can I pee somewhere?
Yes, we'll find you a place, 'cause I got a P2.
please, sir.
Yeah, 'cause I got a P2.
I dropped her off at home, man. I don't know if that's the time I pulled out or not.
There's discrepancies in the video of what we're seeing, what you're telling us, so we have to exploit it.
Absolutely.
If we wouldn't, we'd be idiots.
With what I've had for law enforcement, criminal justice classes, and I worked as a police officer for a very short time, and I wasn't a police officer, reserve police officer.
Gotcha.
It's not the real thing. I absolutely understand that in your position, you would want to explore this greatly.
Well, we just wanna find out how we want.
And can I tell you something? I've been very cooperative.
You have.
I haven't been saying I want an attorney. I don't think, I'm stunned that you want to talk to me about grand larceny of a vehicle. That you
We wanna
have.
crawl before we go jumping into something that, you know what I'm saying?
So you're looking at me for grand larceny, other options are on the
You
table.
could. You've thrown out some other stuff we need to look at.
Hmm?
We have other things we need to look at now.
What do you mean?
The guy that she's supposed to meet, that old black truck, the ding in it.
Can I also
don't
say
see-
this?
Yeah, go ahead.
When she talked to her daughter in front of me, She was telling her daughter that she wanted to meet her because she was supposed to meet some guy.
Daughter's not disclosed that.
You want to ask the daughter, please? Could you please ask
We'll
the
go
daughter
back.
that?
We'll go back and talk to her again.
Because the
We've been talking to
daughter-
her steadily through this whole thing for the last 2 weeks. They're very
been
worried
dealing
about
with
it.
this.
Yeah, they're very worried about it.
Okay, but I will guarantee you that her daughter is going to remember that she was supposed to meet somebody that she had paid to do PI work, and that's the person she was afraid of.
Did she know you?
Does who know
The
me?
daughter.
No,
The daughter, you don't think, the mom didn't mention anything about you?
I don't. Not on that call. I don't know if she has previously about doing work for her and stuff.
All right. Yes, sir. He wants some bathroom, I guess we'll find him a bathroom.
Prince is visibly relieved when he believes they are only looking at him in connection with grand larceny. He completely misses the fact that they have said nothing about ruling him out as a suspect.
Yeah. Is there a bathroom that we can use, sir? You can use?
It's gonna be on this
Is
side.
that one with that where you walk around the corner of the little cell? Oh, they're past the phones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Head on with them then, sir.
So I can keep this.
Yeah, you can keep that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
You're good, man.
I wish I could have helped you more.
After Prince had kidnapped Suttles, he suffocated her with a plastic bag, then buried her on a farm near his home. While searching for Suttles, police found the bodies of 2 other victims of Prince and learned that there were at least 2 more that he had disposed of with chemicals. It is unknown if there are still victims unaccounted for. Daniel Prince was sentenced to life imprisonment after pleading guilty the same day. There is no parole in the federal system. Through his plea agreement, Prince waived any right to challenge his conviction or his sentence. If you enjoyed this video and want to support me further, there's a Patreon link in the description where you can do just that. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.